3 cops at my door, just because I refused to join the neighborhood association. You ever see 3 grown men in community security shirts, acting like they're about to drag you off your own porch? Yeah, that happened. They called it a mandatory compliance order. I called it trespassing. But the kicker was, the second one saw the Glock on my table and nearly passed out, and the third spotted my security camera, turned paler than a ghost, and started backing up so fast he nearly tripped over his own feet. I'd been recording every frame since they set foot on my land. Now, you might think this is some HOA horror story you read about online, but I promise, what happened next made headlines all across Texas. Name's Ray Dobson, 52. Used to design defense systems for the military, think black sites, perimeter sensors, stuff that made my boss's hair go gray, until I finally got tired of all the rules, the meetings, the bureaucrats. So I bought myself a little slice of heaven, 3 acres on Cedar Point, right on the lake, big enough for fishing, coffee on the porch, and 0 neighbors telling me what to do with my mailbox. For half a year, it was bliss. Then came the letters. First one was nice enough. Evelyn Maris, HOA president, sweet as pie, inviting me to join the wonderful community. I told her, politely, thanks but no thanks. By the 5th letter, her tone had gone full mafia, mandatory compliance period, enforcement protocols, like I was running a meth lab, not reading technical manuals and fixing my outboard motor. Now, I'd done my homework. Texas law says you can't force an HOA on property bought before the HOA existed, and I triple-checked every line of my deed. But Evelyn, well, she wasn't much for details. She'd been fired from UT Dallas for another HOA mess, now ran this outfit called Neighborhood Solutions LLC, and I'll be honest, the way she operated gave me the creeps. So, out came the defense engineer in me. AI cameras, motion sensors, even a low-voltage electric fence around my gate, all legal, all sheriff registered. And my Glock, front and center under the castle doctrine. If you're from Texas, you know what I mean. So, that Tuesday, never forget it, my system pings, 3 guys in a white SUV, magnetic Highland security logos, strutting up like they own the place. First one, Marcus Webb, waves official paperwork and tries to sound like a cop. His backup, Sims and Rachie, looked about as coordinated as 2 cats in a bathtub. We're here about your HOA violation, Webb says, face pressed to my intercom. I ask for badges, warrants, anything official. He flashes a badge that'd make a dollar store cashier blush. Civil matter, he insists. Immediate resolution required. I tell him, last I checked, HOA membership in Texas is voluntary, and trespassing isn't. Webb's jaw clenched. Then he grabs my gate. Zap! He gets a shock so hard his hair stands up, yelps like Wild E. Coyote, and lands in my hydrangeas, legs in the air. His shoe flew off. I swear I almost laughed. But the other 2? Sims sees my Glock on the table, backpedals like Michael Jackson. Tony, the smart one, just stares at the camera, realizes the whole clown show is on tape, and hauls the other 2 back to the SUV. As they peel out, I call out, next time, try rubber gloves. Now here's where it gets weird. I download the footage, and my system flags Tony's neck tattoo. Turns out he's on probation for impersonating a cop. Real winner. While reviewing the security footage, I find a USB stick Webb must have dropped during his little shock therapy session. What's on it? Not just HOA bylaws. No, this is Operation Lakeshore. They'd mapped out the whole neighborhood, rated every house for compliance risk, color-coded like it was some kind of military op. My place. Red. High resistance. Dossiers on every neighbor, kids, pets, income, the works. And a timeline. 6 months to force every owner into the HOA. Phase 1. Contact. Phase 2. Enforcement. Phase 3. Final resolution. They'd even planned enhanced persuasion techniques. Makes you shiver, right? I called Evelyn. Miss Maris, one of your boys left a USB stick on my property, I say. There's a long, cold silence. We need to meet, she replies. Alone. Instead, I call Sheriff Morrison, who's all business. Son, he says, after seeing the drive. This isn't an HOA dispute. This is organized crime. Background checks. Webb's broke and desperate. Sims has assault priors. Tony's got mob ties. Morrison kicks it up to federal level. And that's before we even get to the next twist. Because that USB wasn't just some HOA to-do list. It had surveillance photos of me grocery shopping, talking to neighbors, even sleeping. Last one, me in my own bed, shot from outside. These people had been casing me for weeks. Worse, hidden in the files. Audio of Evelyn bragging. If Lakeshore works, we'll replicate this in 50 more communities across the Southwest. This was a pilot run. Real-life land grab, international investors, even Korean money behind it. They weren't just after my cabin. They were building a machine. That same day, I get a call from the sheriff. Another couple, Henry and Martha, hit by the same scam. But their guys were even more aggressive, using fake smoke alarms to force them out, then pressuring them to sign. Martha broke a rib. Henry got threatened over family photos. They found footprints by their bedroom window, even intercepted phone calls with a radio device. Surveillance, psychological warfare, full-on pressure campaign. I got home that night. Door cracked open. No sign of forced entry, just a note. We can get to you anytime we want. You have 48 hours to reconsider. That's when the real chess match began. I doubled my defenses, swapped all comms to encrypted channels, and started feeding them bad info through a listening device I found. Meanwhile, the phone calls started. Breathers, fake summons, cars parked outside taking pictures. They wanted me scared, isolated, thinking I had no way out. Instead, I let the feds in on every move. FBI agent Mitchell takes over. She's sharp, sees this is interstate crime. When Evelyn tries to buy me off, $450K for my $480,000 cabin. Cash. Tomorrow. I know they're desperate. She lets slip. Think Dallas meets Vegas, but with lake views, and accidentally name drops her Korean partners. These weren't just local crooks. This was international laundering, real estate as a front for dirty crypto money. Then the bomb drops. I find out my neighbor's grandson, Tommy, has been kidnapped, picked up by someone at school. The note is clear. 2 p.m., Riverside Park. Come alone, or the boy gets hurt. This went from white-collar scam to straight-up felony. The feds set up, I go to the meet, and Evelyn is there with real muscle this time. Guys who move like they're ex-military. She plays it cold. Tommy's safe if you cooperate. And then, just to twist the knife, she tells me my sister's financial ruin in Portland wasn't an accident. They targeted her as a test run, just to see how to break me. That's when I stopped playing nice. At my signal, the FBI swarms in. Evelyn, her muscle, even the Korean handler, all go down in one move. Tommy's found safe in an office, snacks and all, but kidnapping's still kidnapping. Evelyn gets cuffed, but as she's loaded into the cruiser, she hisses, prison's temporary. The money behind this, permanent. Turns out, the developers were just a front for a crypto laundering ring. My little cabin battle? It triggered a multi-state investigation. Over $200 million frozen, 23 rings taken down, dozens arrested. My sister, Sarah, turns out she was duped too, filling out research surveys for money, not knowing it was intelligence gathering for these crooks. We patched things up, and her insider knowledge helped bust even more scams. Cedar Point changed after all that. The Dobson Protocol became a thing. No one lets anyone on their property without triple verification. Kids learned about stranger danger from Tommy. Property values went up, not down. Irony, huh? My scam-busting fence is now a selling point. And that little app one built, Scamspotter, went viral, helping communities spot frauds before they happen. 6 months later, a new USB arrives, hinting at a bigger ring. Phoenix Holdings in Nevada, even shadier than Seoul Pacific. Sarah looks at me, grins. Time for another road trip? And as Tommy asks if we can put electric fences on the playground to keep out bullies, I just laugh and say, there are better ways to handle bullies. Let me show you psychological warfare. Listen, if you're watching this and fighting your own HOA nightmare, just know you're not alone and you're not powerless. Bullies only win when you back down. Drop a comment if you've ever faced anything like this, or if you just want to know how to make your own electric fence. Let's hear your story. Where are you watching from? And remember, sometimes the best defense is to fight back with every tool you've got.